There we go. Yeah, so I can't seem to master the art of using my scheduled stream. So this is going to be even quirkier because I thought I had come up with a solution, and clearly there is no solution. So today we are going to be sewing a wristlet. Now, this is made all the more challenging by the fact that I do not have the option here to go ahead and switch cameras. So let me try one more thing. It gives the customization option. So stay tuned. Let's see if this works. Okay. And I'm probably going to end up at, let's see what it says here. No, I don't want to create a highlight. I don't know. I feel like I read all the stuff that it tells you to read ahead of time, and then I end up with technical difficulties. This is the oddest thing, and I don't know if it's because of the follower count I have or what, but I cannot seem to get YouTube live. If I'm not using my phone, it doesn't work out well. So maybe the option is to switch over to my phone and see if that would fix things. But in the meantime, I am holding myself accountable for actually doing these videos. So I am not going to hold off on this. I'm going to go ahead and tell you and show you exactly what I'm doing. So today we are making a wristlet, which is very easy. I have the materials and I'm going to go ahead and share them with you. So come along and let me show you exactly what you're going to need to start this. And I feel like I need to disconnect stuff and reconnect things because I had a whole setup and now I have to adjust my setup. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna move my what you call it, as they say, out of the way. All right, so first things first, you will need the fabric, obviously, that you're going to be working with. I'm moving this camera out of the way because that was the camera I was going to use to show you guys what I was doing. Okay, so you will first need your fabric and you want to cut it to 14. So this is the fabric I'm going to be working with. Hopefully this is a little clearer. It's 14 by 4. Next, you will need a medium weight interfacing, fusible interfacing, and I will put all of this information in the chat. In the video that I initially had started, I actually in the schedule, I actually had put all of that there, and somehow I can't seem to capture it from my computer. So obviously, I am having real technical difficulties because I can't seem to switch between one and the other. Anyways, so you'll need that. I use my rotary cutter, and then you will need one of these pliers and the hook. This is what it looks like. And all of this will be pinned to this common. So I've already cut this here, which is the fabric for my interfacing, for my wristlets to 12 by 4. And the next thing I'm going to do is cut my medium weight interfacing. So I'm going to cut it just slightly smaller than the actual weight of my current, what I currently have for the fabric. So it's going to be approximately 3.5 by, instead of by 12, it's going to be by about 11 and 11.25. And because I've done this before, this is like the perfect piece. And I'm going to use my little giant scissors from Guggenheim to cut this. So just give me a few and I will show you what it looks like. Okay. And okay, so let me, you know what always happens whenever I have a live, I get frazzled because it doesn't really leave room for errors. So I'm going to try and show you as I work with this. And I'm so glad, at least for this time, that I have a smaller ironing board, my smaller ironing board here. So I'm going to work with this for you and show you how to use it. And that also means that I have to move other things out of the way so you're able to see what I am doing. So this is my fabric. And this is my baby iron. It's actually a heat press, And I got this off of Amazon. Again, I'm going to tag everything I'm using in this video. I know this video is long overdue. Actually, not that long overdue. It was due back in back on Sunday, but I was traveling and it was Father's Day after all. So I wanted my husband to have my undivided attention. Okay, so trying not to burn my table. I'm just going to put that over there. And then now I'm going to start the process of adding the interfacing, which I forgot to take this little tip off of it. Can I just say how much I love these Guggenheim scissors? Like, seriously. Now, with this interfacing, I want to show you something. So if hopefully you can see this, this side is shiny and this side is not shining. So the shiny side is what you're going to be attaching. And what I'm going to do first is fold this in half. Remember, this is 12 by 4. So when you fold it in half, it's going to be approximately 2 inches wide. And this is like a really good beginner friendly project. Also, if you're going to craft shows, if you have a birthday party and you have someone who is interested in learning to sew, this is a good one to start off with. You can have a whole bunch of girls together, or gals or guys, put this together and do this. So the reason I did this is because I want to know how to where to append this. So I'm going to use the shiny side facing me and just fold this in half. I don't need to use my heat because if I use my heat, it's going to start adhering. So I'm just folding this in half. And then now I'm going to take the shiny side, press it on the wrong side of my fabric, and pretty much just line it up with a line I have just created with on my fabric piece, just like so. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and press this down. Now, this is something you need to know if you're a beginner sewist. When you ironing, especially with something like this, this is a press. Like I said earlier, this is a heat press and not a iron. So you're going to be pressing this down and I will show you what it looks like. So when you do this, and I think I might need to adjust my lighting so that you can, let's see. Okay. Hopefully you can still see this. So I've adjusted my lighting so that you can actually see how this changes. So it's a little darker. And the reason it's darker is because now the heat is causing the bond to adhere to the fabric. So this is what we're doing. And we're just going to keep pressing. This part takes a little bit of time, but you got this. So if you are following along or watching this on a later day, so just take your time to make sure it fully bonds with the fabric. You have the option. I'm using fusible interfacing. I have seen people use fusible fleece. So don't feel like if you don't have interfacing, it's going to be an issue. I'm trying to see what light color might work out better. Oh, I don't even know. I'm gonna make it a little warmer so you can see this. And I promised someone that I was going to do a video on the difference between ironing and pressing. So I'm probably going to post that on my TikTok channel. But I wanted to actually do this live. Again, like I said, I am holding myself accountable to post one live every week. I've been busy this week. It's been a busy and a long week. And like I said, I have a day job that I also manage. So I am trying to make sure that I get these in. So this is what it looks like after you fully adhered the medium weight interface into it. Okay, so it's stuck on your fabric. So now you have that line and we're going to do the fold again. And because it has the interfacing, which is like paper, it's easier to fold this in half, okay? And we already have that line, the crease already created, so it actually works out. So after you do that, you're going to take each side and fold it into the center. Again, this is a very beginner-friendly project, okay? So don't feel pressure. You're just going to use your hand and kind of, help it along there. I have my stiletto, which has the ends here that I can use as a press to kind of just help create the crease. I will iron this down, but I just need something to help me with that. Stilettos are good to have. They're handy to have. I have a video of how to use them or what you use them for. But if you have questions, feel free to leave it in the chat. And I forgot to ask, Where are you watching this from? Leave a heart if you've enjoyed this video. Okay, so let's go back. Ooh, I think I lost the tip for my stiletto. Oh, I see where it is. Okay, I'll get that after this. I'm not going to hold you guys much because I did start this live later than anticipated. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and just continue to press this down. Again, making sure it's right on the center. So we have the first side folded into the center. Now, what we just did there, we're going to repeat on the other side, folding this into the center as well. So when all is said and done, you're going to have about an inch. Why is it? How does it become an inch? Remember, we started with 4 inches. We're folding the 4 inches into 2 inches, and then we're folding each side of the 2 inches into a half an inch because, and then when we put it together, it's actually going to be 1 inch wide, which is the perfect size for our hardware, which we're going to use for our stiletto. The fabric came from Michael's, if you're wondering where I got it from. Anyways, okay, so now this is folded, and I'm going to take this now and put the sides together. So this is basically what I want. But before that, I'm going to go ahead and iron these down so that it can lay flat. So anybody who knows me knows I do not like to iron, but this is one you absolutely need to iron. So just as a quick tutorial, this is the difference between ironing and pressing. Pressing was what we did earlier, where you were just pressing it down and trying to get your fabric piece to adhere. You can also use pressing for your seams to get a crisp seam. I do have this clapper that I had shared earlier. When you do that and you put it down, it actually ensures that the seam stays on there and that it the crease comes out looking very crisp and very professional. But I'll set that aside and now fold this in half now that I've done that so that I can get a full on and make sure it's, it's equal. So you don't want a side that is over on one side and you don't have anything on the other side, okay? And I'm also doing some pressing along here. So I did, I posted a poll in the community about what you would like the next video to be. So go ahead and check it out. And we're almost done, believe it or not. So the next thing we're going to do now, after we've done all of that, is we'll take off whatever excess pieces of threads we may have on the end. And then we're going to take this to our sewing machine and go ahead and sew the sides together. So I'm going to use 1/8 of an inch allowance. So I'm going to sew this side where everything comes together. I'm going to sew that, and then I'm going to sew the other side. Just because, I mean, theoretically, you can only you can if you want to only sew one side. And it's closed anyways, but to have it look more professional, it's always good to do both sides. So I do recommend that you do both sides when you are putting this together. I'm going to turn off the iron because it's no longer needed and move this out of the way. And then next, we're going to go ahead and get to the sewing machine. So let me turn this a little bit, and I will move my microphone out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. If I can keep things straight, right? I feel like I am always struggling with the setup, and I promise you I will get the setup straight at some point. I'm still trying to figure out what setup works best for everyone. So hello, welcome. We're sewing a wristlet, and I will share with you all of the things that you need in the chat. And we're using about 1/8 of an inch allowance. And I usually prefer to start on the open side, which I feel like that helps it a lot better, at least to stay together. And if you're new to sewing, I do recommend that you hold both sides as you go. And for those who are just watching me for the first time, whenever I do a live or I'm sharing a demo video, I try to use black thread because it's easier to see. So I have that. And then now that I have this side fully stitched out, I'm going to do another top stitch, a straight stitch on the other side. And you don't need to back stitch for this. The reason being that the ends are actually going to end up underneath the hardware. So you can get away with not back stitching this. Okay. Almost done. All right, so we're going to take off the excess threads from the sides here. And my goal is to always have these videos be no more than a half an hour. So I'm trying to get this done. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. I'm always happy to answer. Okay, let's take that out there just in case. All right, so now we have this strip, okay? The next thing you're going to do is take it and put it together. Now, some people have, they prefer actually sewing this down. It's not required. And the reason I say it's not required is that you aren't going to be using the hardware, which you have, and just pressing it down. However, because if you're a beginner, it might be worth it to do that. Why? Because you want to make sure that it fully stays together. And if for some reason you don't press the hardware the right way, if you look in here, it has a little bit of like teeth on the inside. If you don't put the teeth properly, it does have a tendency to shift, and you don't want your wristlets to come apart. So I will go ahead and do like about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and just sew this down. And obviously, even though I gave the measurements, starting out, we started out with a 12 by 4, and then for the fabric material, and 11.5 by 3 1/4. I'm sorry, and by 3 3/4 for the interfacing. I feel like this is a good wrist size for most adults. If you have a younger kid, you obviously can make it smaller, or if you're going to a craft market, you can also make the adjustments. But we're just about done here. So this is fully sealed there. And obviously, if you can see the lines, this is fully done. So now we're going to take this, and we're going to take our tool here. I'm going to make sure I put all of that information in the chat so that you can see it later on. And this is one of those things I always tell people. If you're working with this tool for the first time, you got to be careful. So what I try to do is move the ring out of the way. You have the option to take the ring off completely if it's going to be in your way. I have had situations where I put it in and it didn't sit properly. So there is a little bit of a groove on the inside there, which actually tells you how to place it or where to place it. To do that, take this. I'm right-handed, so I'm able to do this with my left hand to put it in between. Make sure you have it in the center, and then just press down. And you want to press it down fully. And make sure, I will also press other areas as well as I go, just to make sure that it all goes in. And this is your wristlet. This is a beautiful wristlet. I love this fabric. Again, like I said, I got this off of Michael's. I actually got it off of their website. So if you're looking to get the fabric, this is a cupcake fabric. It's pink, it's festive, and it's one that you can use. Make this for a craft show. Make it for kids who are looking to do learn crafts as a birthday thing. So you can always do that. And it's one that you don't need to spend a lot of money. So if you got, let's say, a fat quarter, you could probably get 5 of these. You do have to buy the hardware, and you do have to buy the pliers, but you could probably get 5 of these off of, let me get back on camera. You can probably get 5 of these off of Amazon's or whatever show you are watching, or whatever marketplace you decide to purchase it off of. Don't feel the need to actually go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Again, like I always tell people, if you're new to sewing, go to a thrift store, Use fabrics that you already have at home. Old bed sheets work just great. Old shirts work great. Old cotton dresses that you're about to throw in the in landfill, those work just as good. And you can still get something that looks as beautiful as this. And like we just did, this took us approximately from start to finish, even with the fact that, given the fact that we started a little later, it's so far it's 2028, so 20 minutes and 30 and 28 seconds, but it actually took less than that because we finished about a minute ago. So if you're looking for a craft that you can do and enjoy with your little ones and you're a new beginner sewist, I highly recommend doing a wristlet. So if you have not already done so, please take a moment and subscribe, hit the subscribe button. And next week I do have two topics that I'm going to be showing. So don't just click on the very next the link, that closing link you see here. I'm still trying to get all the lingo down, but don't just go away. Watch some of the other beginner sewers projects. I do have a folder where I've shared and added a ton more beginner sewers projects, so that people who want to really just pick up new and little projects, this would be one of those. You can always do that. I also have the option, like I was asking, and I don't know if people are tired or want to see another wristlet. There is a scrunchy wristlet that I can do, and I can also do a scrunchie, like a hair scrunchie. With a zipper. So, but the zippers, I feel like zippers are something that's more geared towards people who are intermediate sewers. So you have a solid understanding of sewing on both sides and all of that. So this is more a beginner friendly project. It's one you can sell at a craft show. It's one you can make for school, for your school fairs. So the options are endless, and everybody always has a key, at least for now, until everything goes digital. So if you have any questions and you've just watched this, feel free to leave a comment and I will be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. My name is Joy, and this is The Imperfect Sewist, where I share with you little quick projects that are great for beginners who are trying to get their feet wet and want to learn something new. I also teach on Outschool, so if you're looking to take a class, let me know and I will be more than happy to schedule one with you. Have a wonderful day.